Well, it's Tuesday. We're back in the attic, and we're still messing around with Riverossi.
He has something in a red box here.
I have something in a red box here. This is a more modern example. We looked at a 1960s version of a Riverossi that was marketed under the name AHM. AHM went toes up. Tyco took over some of that distribution for a very brief period of time.
That's crazy.
And eventually Riverossi just started selling them in the United States under the name Riverossi instead of under AHM. Same model, same company, same everything. But they later on started actually living up to their reputation as Italian brass.
Okay.
This is 844, our good friend 844 from the Union Pacific.
Neat.
So they offered an FEF-3 Northern, and just with their real name on it,
Nice
Riverossi.
box.
And it's boxed just as though it's a brass engine, even though it's certainly not.
Oh my goodness.
And I actually have over there somewhere an actual Riverossi brass engine.
Yes.
So they did some of those. But
Oh wow.
there's the tender.
That is cool.
This is back when it was known as 8444.
Okay.
Because they had a diesel engine running around called 844. And so for quite a few years, 844 was known as 8444. Started off in life as 844, went to 8444, and then back to 844.
It gets confusing.
It gets confusing. But there's the centipede tender
Oh my goodness. Look
for
at
that
that.
guy right there. And
Here comes the favorite part.
here comes the beast.
Yes. Oh, look at that.
Is that beautiful?
Oh my goodness. That is just amazing.
This just looks exactly like a brass engine. A lot of it is not plastic. They, in these later issues, they went to metal frames, and
Wow.
this is actually pretty
it's
heavy.
kind of heavy. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That,
yeah.
That's
So
more to it.
just sitting there on somebody's layout, you'd think you're looking at a brass engine.
Oh, it's, yes.
So they're still more basic than a lot of brass engines, and yet I'd put this up against a Tencioto version of it from the 1960s, and this would probably kick its butt in terms of detail and whatnot. And yet, by the time this came out, then brass engines had sort of taken it up yet another notch.
Wow.
But just a magnificent
the
engine,
detail.
still on the market, of
It
course.
is. The
yeah.
front of that just gets me how detailed that is.
Isn't that beautiful? It's so much like
Right.
our good friend, which we're showing here now, 844,
844.
which we followed around, and
Yes.
we're heading up to Cheyenne to see how they're coming on the big boy
Yes, that's gonna be
restoration.
so
And
exciting.
this guy's parked right next to the big boy, and when they want to go for a ride, this is what they use, because this one actually runs.
Yes.
Pretty soon they'll both be running.
That'll be so cool.
But this is where Riverossi has ended up over time. So the company most certainly hasn't gone away.
Right.
AHM has, and so you know sometimes people say, well, that company went out of business. No, it just evolved like so many things. It just went from being one thing to another thing. Pretty expensive model. I'm not quite sure what the retail is on this guy. If you find it in the hobby shops, several $100s
Right.
for a Zymac and plastic, but way better than the 60s versions of the same thing. And they didn't offer this particular engine back then, but they do now.
That's
So
crazy.
how fun
Look,
is
your-
that? Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's got to go over there.
it's got to go under there.
Yeah, under and over. Oof.
Under and
So
over.
delicate. I just get nervous because I don't want something to.
And this shouldn't be directly in the foam. I need to actually wrap it in plastic and then put it in foam.
Oh,
this
really?
is not a good way to store a thing.
Yeah. I have to, oof, yeah. I just
Opened
get
that and
nervous.
went, wait a minute, I should be wrapped up in plastic before it's put
Mostly
in the
because I see little tiny parts on there. I was like, okay. glue
because
that one
they'll
back
get
on.
caught in the foam. And
Yeah.
then as we saw with the turbines, the foam can disintegrate
Oh, that
over
was just
decades, and it
weird.
just turns into something
Turned
that
into
looks like
something-
shaving cream or
Yeah,
something that's
just-
all over your
ugh,
model. So
yeah.
don't want that either.
No.
So wrap them in a cellophane or something, and then put them in the
Right.
box in the foam if you're going to be storing them long term.
Right.
Well, if you haven't been over to the channel, do pop over to the channel. And if you're not a subscriber, you want to subscribe. And of course, we have the newfangled blue button.
Yes.
You ready for it?
It's a big one.
Zoink! That giant blue button right there.
Can't miss it.
Click on that and makes you a subscriber. Well, we're not sure how you found this movie on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring. And we will see you here again on Sunday with Driving Around. See you then.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.